everybody. Today is Friday, May 7th. Yeah, May 7th. I had to reassure myself because sometimes I get confused. My name's JR. Today, I want to talk about something that I've experienced in my life. Self-confidence, not feeling up to par how I look or how I feel, because it can play a major role in the way our day goes. It really can. When I was younger, I was small. Then I got big, then I got small again, and then I filled out, and I was a, pretty decent looking guy. I was in good shape. I wouldn't say immaculate. So I dealt with body issues a lot and self-confidence. But the first thing to know is you have to give yourself affirmations in the morning. I learned that from somebody on Instagram, that if you can wake up every morning, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, hey, I look good for me. Don't worry about what other people say, because other people just want to bring you down. If they tell you something, sometimes they don't know the words they're using, because I have that problem. That's why if my wife was to ask me, hey, does this outfit make me look fat? I had to try not to be too honest. I know she would want me to be honest, but I would have to choose my words. But I would be honest with her. I wouldn't say, "Oh no, honey, it doesn't make you look fat." And then we walk out the house and people are giving her these stares and staring at her, and she gets upset with me because I gave her the confidence. No, you can be honest with people without being rude when they ask you questions. It's just like my wife has always told me, I have to watch what words I use. Makes sense, because I don't think before I talk, and that's just a habit I have. I don't mean to be unfiltered. I don't mean to come off rude or asshole-ish to people, but I still deal with a little self-confidence today. Not a lot. It's getting way better. I just wake up in the morning and I tell myself in my head, don't let nobody bring you down, because people will do it. Some of them intentionally. Some people do it unintentionally. Loved ones do it without realizing it. Maybe they think they're just trying to help you become a better person. I don't know. I can't think for how they think. I love knowing that I hold myself responsible for my actions and my feelings and how I see myself, because I don't let nobody bring me down. Years ago, I used to let people get to me. I used to let people make fun when they say something to me or something. I would let it get to me. But I'm living my life the best way I know how, the best way I can. Yes, I'm not as small as I want to be, but I'm not as big as I used to be. I don't feel people stare at me, except for, my upper chest, which I talk about a lot, which I'm working on, working out and reducing it and stuff like that, but it takes time. Kids will say the darndest things, and kids can be quite honestly brutal, but I don't get mad at them, because, what's a 5-year-old to know better, And another thing is, like I said, holding yourself accountable for your actions. What I mean by that is, take responsibility. If you know for 100% that you did something wrong, own up to it. Don't hide it, because it just makes things worse. I guess I'm too brutally honest when it comes to things like that. When it comes to responsibility, I used to have that issue where I would not own up to things, but life changes. I became a different person. I didn't like the person I used to see staring back at me in the mirror. I was not a healthy person mentally or physically. Who's to say, who is 100% fit versus somebody else? It's the nostalgia of the way people see other people. It boils down to how you feel individually, how you feel physically or mentally. More physically, how you feel. You don't have to follow these people and do all the strenuous things they do. I've seen people try the workouts that others do. I've seen people do the Marine workout, or the State Trooper workout, or the Chris Hemsworth workout, and they said, it was brutal. Well, that's because you're not used to that. So you do it once, and of course it's going to knock you on your ass. They've been working out like that most of their life, and 10, 15 years, so it doesn't knock on their ass as much as it would you, because you've never done something like that before. Me personally, I wouldn't try to do Chris Hemsworth's workout. I would have to work up to that. I would have to find out his regimen and do small steps. Like if he did squats at 200 pounds, I would have to, work my way up to that. There's no way I would just try to do what he does at the snap of a finger just to see if I can do it, because you put yourself at risk. So confidence is a big key. You wake up and, when you wake up and open your eyes, you just look in the mirror and say, I'm not going to let this day bring me down. I used to get told all the time as a kid that I wasn't going to amount to nothing. And I used to get mentally broke down to feel like crap all the time. I didn't let that bother me for a while, but then it did get to me after a while. And I don't know how that's affected me today. I'm not a psychologist. Never really looked into how that affected me. But this whole thing that I'm getting to is every morning you just have to look yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and tell yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I'm gorgeous, I'm sexy. Whatever word you want to use for yourself, use it. Whatever makes you feel good on the inside. And you look yourself and you say that I'm going to conquer this day the best of your abilities, because we can't always predict what our day is going to be like. So, I mean, some things you might be able to predict going to happen, but a lot of it you probably can't. So, in my advice, you just try to adapt to your situation during the day as best you can of stuff that just springs on us. It doesn't matter what your day consists of. Something is not going to go 100% the way you think it will. I've learned that not everything is absolute. So, when you wake up, you just tell yourself you're gonna conquer this day, and you're going to adapt to any obstacle that comes your way to the best of your abilities and to the best of your capabilities. Because the day is, once it starts, you can't predict. I don't think you can predict anything that's going to happen. I mean, not everything is absolute. I mean, for Christ's sake, not even the mail being delivered to your house is absolute. I mean, there's times that we was expecting mail and it don't show up till the next day. Why? I don't know. I don't work for the post office. So again, not everything's absolute. The only things that I know are absolute, you flick a lighter and a flame comes out. And that's not always absolute, because what if the lighter fluid's out? But back to what I'm saying about confidence and how you feel about yourself. I went through it in a few times in my life, because like I said, I went from small to big to small to big, and now I'm smaller than what I used to be. I used to feel people stare at me, and it used to kind of make me nuts. Like I wanted to go over to them and ask them why they staring at me. Do they like what they see? Take a picture. I wanted to be a smartass, but I didn't, because I didn't want to cause no trouble, because I don't like to deal with authority. And what I mean by that, I'm not scared of them. I just don't like dealing with them, because some of them could be assholes, and that's a route I don't want to go down, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, I've dealt with self-confidence where I felt like everybody was just staring at me. They were talking under their breath to me, but you can't let them get to you. You got to be the best version of yourself every day. Yeah, to be honest, it's not going to happen every day. It was something like, you can go 100 days in a row feeling self-confident, then that one day you might hit a wall. It happens. It reminds me of something that George Carlin said. What if I've had 95 great days in a row, and then today I'm having a bad day? It happens. You can have days and days of good days, and then one day you just hit a wall and you have a bad day, or maybe 2 days in a row. Life is a bitch, and it's going to slap you. You just have to adapt and be prepared to handle it to the best of your abilities, because it will break you down. I see it to a lot of people. I mean, to be honest, it's broken me a few times. There's times that I didn't want to get up out of bed and do nothing, but I did, because I don't want to lay around, and because then I get bored. As my wife said the other day, I need to find something to do, a hobby or something, and I don't want to play my Xbox for 8 to 9 hours a day, 7 days a week, so I have to look into something. So again, my whole moral of this is to conquer your day to the best of your abilities. If you feel like you don't look to what these people think you should look like, don't worry about them. Forget them. You should be happy with yourself. The person that's staring back at you in the mirror is the one that you should be happy with, not what everybody else thinks. I don't give a shit what people think about me. Never have, never will. I love my wife. I love my mom. I love my stepson. I love my brother. I love most of my family that I still talk to. I love my friends. But despite all of them, I don't care what they think about me. They can think that I'm an asshole. They can think that I'm the greatest man on earth. They can think that I'm the dumbest or the smartest or the stupidest or the craziest. That's how they see me, but it's how I see myself. And that's what it boils down to, is how you see yourself. When you make changes, you make them for yourself. Remember, for yourself, not for anybody else. You don't change for anybody else but you. That's a big deal to me, because I really believe that people should do for themselves. And I'm not saying what I mean by change for yourself. That's exactly what I mean. When you make a change, do it because you want to. So all in all, everybody, that's my time for today. I think next week I'm working on something different. I'm going to add like one or two weird, odd, stupid, crazy stories that I've read, because I read a lot of news. That's one thing people don't know about me. Since I was about 12 years old, I've watched America's Most Wanted religiously until it went off the air. I'm big into crime. I like reading weird news, odd news, strange news. I just like reading news because I don't like to be out of the loop. I'm big on murder, death stories, crime, big on crime. I was just telling my wife that I might look for a group that like likes to look into cold cases. Maybe that's something I can do. So again, that's my time. Subscribe, like, share. Questions, opinions, anything you want to say, feel free to say it. And again, y'all have a great weekend.